Dallin Need, the CEO of Content Supply Company. And now let's dive in. I'm going to share some slides, walk you through this framework that helps you turn your expertise, team, and audience into content creators to grow your business with daily media. That's videos, podcasts, short form content, courses, and so much more. Okay, so let's dive into the media company blueprint. Okay, now imagine for yourself having a content engine that runs every single day without you doing all the work. What if your team and your customers become the best content creators you've ever had, turning your brand into a media machine? Because when you have media every single day, your customers, your audience, your community keep you, your message, your products and services top of mind. And they'll keep coming back to you and get reminded that you exist. So think media company. How can you, whether you're a personal brand or part of a large enterprise or company, how can you become a media company? Well, a big thing to consider here is that in 2025 and beyond, the most successful companies will be media companies. Think about HubSpot, Red Bull, Nike, even Stripe, Salesforce, Profitwell, MailChimp, Workweek, the list goes on of many companies. And granted, a lot of these companies are multi-million or billion-dollar companies that have the funding to put into media. But what if you could also stand at the level or higher than a lot of these companies because you are consistently producing new content? And not just content to add to the noise, but relevant content that actually stands out for the people who need it, your customers, right? Your audience. So then what do all these companies have in common and many more? Well, they are not just operating like traditional media. I mean, they're not traditional media companies at all. They're not news outlets like CNN, Fox News, NBC, ESPN. They're companies that don't just sell media as their product, so entertainers, but they use consistent media to build relationships and sell like a human, because it's humans who buy from humans. So think about that. Well, then next, brands that think and act like media companies win. So again, the companies like Red Bull, they go from selling energy drinks to owning extreme sports media content and distributing that daily, and many of that content goes viral. Or Gymshark, where they built a billion-dollar brand through athlete and influencer content. HubSpot, they own a media division of their company that educates their entire audience for free. They've got a whole podcast network. I think in MailChimp too, they produce high-level media that, hey, doesn't necessarily talk about their email newsletter or their email software platform, but it talks about relevant messages that can help educate, inform, and even entertain their audience. And of course, Salesforce, that has an entire media network with video and podcast content. So again, you've got to have the mindset shift of thinking and acting like a media company. That's where you go from traditional media, which often costs a lot of money to invest in. I'm talking about paid ads, more sales-driven or direct response type content, and inconsistent. Think about years ago when certain brands could fork out the budget to, say, do a Super Bowl commercial, which costs multi-millions of dollars to do, or put a TV ad in place or a radio ad. Not every company could do it that effectively, or print, newspaper. That is traditional, old-fashioned media. It may work for certain industries, but I say certain lightly because every company, no matter whether it's white, blue collar, big enterprise, startup, personal brand, needs to operate like a modern media company. And again, thinking and acting like the media company, where you distribute content every single day as a podcast, post on LinkedIn, video, audio posts, YouTube, TikTok, whatever channel, focus on whatever channel your target audience, your ideal customer spends their time online. So Then, why is traditional marketing dead? Well, consumers trust people, not faceless brands. And ads are ignored. Engagement is driven by authentic content. So traditional marketing equals interruption, and then modern marketing equals connection and relationship building. And now the solution here is that you must, again, become a media company. That's where your content is your brand's best asset. This is where you build trust through consistent storytelling and not just salesy content. This is where you educate, entertain, and inspire, and you don't just sell. Plus, you turn your brand into the go-to source of value and information. This is where you shift from the mindset from a marketer to a media creator. So brands that truly win, create. They don't just advertise. They think like a publisher and they act like a creator. They own their audience. They build their own platform for distribution and engagement, not necessarily just relying on social media or paid ad platforms. That's where they drive real engagement, is on their own platform, oftentimes their own website or their own content distribution platform. Again, hosted really through their own website. You got to own your content, own your channels, and you can own your audience in a way that you can simply just talk to them directly and own that direct communication channel. So, how can your business become a media company, whether it's an established corporation or a personal brand? Here are the 3 steps, the media company blueprint, or AKA your content supply. Step number 1 is message. This is where you know who to talk to and what to say. Step number 2 is media. This is where you create, publish, and repurpose on all the right channels. And then machine. This is where you build, monetize, and automate everything. So step number 1 is your message. Your message is important. Without a clear message, your ideal customers won't know whether you can help them or not. They need to know what's in it for them, what type of solution do you provide, and how are you unique compared to all your competitors and alternatives out there. So ask yourself these pretty common marketing or messaging driven questions, but consider, who is your core audience? What's your unique positioning? And what content format will you own first? Be that video, podcast, e-learning, courses, you name it, the written word. Then how will you monetize? So of course, this is having your products and services built in place on your website, easy to talk about, easy to process payments, that sales process clearly outlined. And of course, ways to monetize your content channels across YouTube, across your own website. So you can monetize not just your products and services, but of course, the content you're creating in your supply of content. So then what is your message? Again, this is how you talk about, knowing how to talk about what you do and why in a simple yet powerful way. Simple words to attract the right audience. Also, think about some of these examples. I've mentioned some before, like Profitwell, for example. They create media for SaaS founders. So they have video shows and newsletters, a whole media network, essentially. It's like a modern version of, say, CNN or NBC, right? Then there's Morning Brew, where they distribute business news for professionals through newsletters and events. And then Work Week, this is niche media brands that are powered by experts. So they have a creator-led newsletter to connect with their audience. That's their form, right? You don't just have to do video, which I'm very partial. Video should be your number 1, but then you can repurpose that or double down on written word, typically in newsletters, or very targeted blog articles. Yet, of course, AI, that's a whole nother conversation, is impacting blog and SEO. However, you can have a very curated, unique message that is delivered in written form. I think of Seth Godin, who does a very short form blog article. I believe he does it daily, and it's less than a minute to read. It's inspirational, it's impactful, it's tip driven, gives you a quick win. So consider what is going to be most relevant for your audience, your community. And then your message. So for example, Content Supply, which I'm from Content Supply, it's our company. Our audience is in-house marketing teams, B2B executives, and brand leaders. Our positioning is we are the go-to media platform for turning brands into content machines and media companies. The format we typically choose for content is video first content, so daily short form content, interviews, and deep dive webinars and trainings. And the way we monetize is through a done for you creative content and thought leadership service. Okay, so step 2 for becoming a media company is your media. So for your media, you need to pick a pillar media or content format that drives everything else. So I mentioned this before, but options may include videos so by way of a YouTube show, podcasts, ideally video podcasts, so that way you have the audio version as well for distribution across Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, a newsletter, reports and guides, maybe consistently put out very custom data-driven reports for those who love data, very relevant. And then events and webinars, kind of like this one here, where I'm doing a webinar and a virtual event, or it may be in-person event as well from on stage. And then another thing with media is you want to build a daily content supply. So that fuels brand awareness and your lead generation. So going back to your pillar content that you identify, make sure you invest in long form video. An early investment, if you're not already doing it, hey, start now. Do it now, because the best time to start was yesterday. Next best time is literally right now. So then you can also do webinars, podcasts, right? Identify what that is, and then repurpose that content into short form video clips, maybe a newsletter summary of that long form video, LinkedIn, Instagram, X threads, maybe a blog or case study. The repurposing power of the one long form video is huge. Here's a quick graphic that can help demonstrate this. This is from a video we produced for one of our clients. This is where we repurpose content and we turn it into one video into a supply of new branded assets that can be used across the entire funnel and all marketing channels. So you take the number one long form video, you reformat it into vertical, horizontal, square, whatever distribution platform, right? Social media platform it's going to. You can then turn that into GIFs, memes, short form, audio, still graphics. Then you write copy and you reformat it again into blog articles, social media posts, emails, thumbnails, ad creative, podcasts. And that way it can fit across every screen, every type of channel and format. Of course, you want to make it specific for the channel because there's not going to be like the perfect YouTube video that also works the same exact way or performs the same exact way on, say, Pinterest or TikTok or LinkedIn. And then by doing this, you can increase your visibility across all the channels. This is where you're going to also increase leads and sales because you are owning your media and building your presence across these channels. So that way you can show up daily with your daily content supply to your audience and your communities. And then also your content should directly drive leads, revenue, and business growth. So some monetization strategies can include lead generation. So every piece of content should drive inbound leads to your products and services. I know that is a huge way for us, for example, is that we've put effort and time into SEO, which SEO is still relevant today, despite AI searches or other competing solutions out there, where through certain key search terms, we can show up on page 1 on Google, but also show up in, say, a ChatGPT prompt or search result. Another monetization strategy is paid media and sponsorships. So this is where you can feature paid content collaborations with other brands or affiliate products. You can have premium reports that people pay access to or a premium paid community. You can also have platform monetization. So you could have media be a form of your product. You know, if you're more of an entertainment focused platform where you can use YouTube and use their membership or another custom online membership platform for an advertising and a monetization channel for you to monetize your content. Okay, and then moving on to step 3 is your machine. For your machine, this is where you can scale and automate your content creation. This is where you can hire or outsource your content creation roles. And when I say roles, I mean the entire content and marketing team can be outsourced to make it more hands-off for you and to allow you and your marketing and your leadership team really focus on growth and other priorities. This is with your machine. This is where you can also automate posting with AI-assisted tools, also scheduling across different platforms all at once. This is where you can also build a whole creator network. I often talk about the content echo effect. So that's where you invest in a B2B way or maybe a B2C way. You invest in UGC style creators to represent your brand and to even create additional profiles that are branded to your company, or maybe more personal brand profiles to talk about the messaging, the products and services that you offer, and to basically create that echo or amplification effect of your message and your company across more channels, more accounts on those channels. And I'm talking about like social media channels, right? Or websites. And you give them affiliate commission or recurring type of revenue model or income model for those creators and that talent. And also that creator network can exist in that content echo effect, but also I would say as number one priority is using your own team. Use your CEO if they have a good on-camera presence, or use members of your marketing team, or if they're subject matter experts that are going to talk on different topics, you can host an internal podcast for your worldwide audience or your worldwide employee and team base. So invest in your team to become content creators, empower them to create content for your company, because everyone has a powerful tool on their phone to create content at scale. And then you want to expand distribution. So this is where you use paid ads, syndication, meaning you syndicate, you republish across all channels, and then you have more influencer collaborations, which fits into that content echo effect that I referenced. Okay, another aspect of your machine is that you make your best content not just from your marketing team, but from your people, your audience. So you have case study videos, you have interview podcast style Q&As, you assign your team members a specific content role, be that captured behind the scenes content, expertise sharing. You even build out templates and easy to use tools. Honestly, there's so many AI tools you can sync up that we use in our content operation. You can use Loom for standard operating procedures and processes. You can use Canva for a lot of your designs. You can use CapCut, Descript. You can also reward participation with bonuses and recognition. So you give an incentive to your team to become the content creators. You give incentives to your customers to get discounts or deals on your products and services, or maybe other products and services. And then you build predictable automated workflows where you assign people to a process using specific tools to power it. Another aspect of building your machine is to, again, expand on this aspect of a community-driven media ecosystem. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit more what that means. Your audience want to become a part of the story that you're telling. They want to become a part of your content, so you want to let them allow them to join your ecosystem, allow them to become a part of your community by creating a lot of your marketing content for you, a lot of your media company content for you. So this is where you have user-generated content or community-generated content where you have your customers create brand-related content on behalf of your company. Again, you can use interactive Q&As and live streams where you can engage followers and answer real questions. You can also use podcasts and interviews to feature customers and have industry experts. Okay, so that's your machine. Now, brands that are using podcasts, there are many brands that are using podcasts and video to build authority. You may see some of these recognizable faces here. We're talking about CEOs, founders, and they are all becoming their brand's biggest asset because they are becoming a spokesperson and a creator while empowering their team and audience to also create for them. whether it's Gary Vaynerchuk or Patrick Bet-David or Charlemagne the God with his podcast, iHeartRadio. Maybe it's Tom, Dan Martell, Diary of a CEO, and all of the interviews, long form interviews he features. You can probably think of some of your favorite channels. You can learn from these different creators, and you can recognize that, sure, some of them are having media, their podcast, their content become their product that they monetize from, but it also becomes leverage to sell their own products and services because they're building a connection. They're showing up every day by becoming a media company and having a consistent supply of content. Now, at Content Supply, we help businesses operate like media companies by helping them produce high quality content at scale that inspires, educates, and motivates. Simply, we grow businesses. So Content Supply transforms brands with strategic content that drives visibility, lead generation, and sales growth with companies like Teachable, Majority Strategies, HP Next, and many more. And we have a lot of clients that love working with us. We've gotten a lot of great results working with companies of all sizes, helping them to become media companies. Results for companies like Whole Earth Brands or Clean My Max X or HBF or ABF Creative or Princess Cruises or Create Studio, generating millions of views with ads, with video content, or winning awards, generating millions in impressions and sales and revenue, right? The list goes on of results that we've achieved for many companies. And you can do the same. You can expand your reach, build more brand awareness by investing in a media-first mindset and powering your in-house creative team with more human-driven content. So to recap, here's what modern media companies do. They own their media channels like YouTube, podcasts, streaming platforms, newsletters, websites, their internal communication channels. They also create daily, consistent content that builds brand authority. They prioritize storytelling over direct selling. They blend education and entertainment, and they leverage their audience as content contributors using UGC or community-generated content, case studies, and interviews. Now, if you're serious about becoming a media company yourself, whether you're a personal brand or part of a marketing team and enterprise, and then scaling your content without the overwhelm, then here's how we can help at Content Supply. We have a creative service subscription where for one monthly plan, you get access to all of our creative services on demand, where we can help you predictably increase your traffic, your leads, and your sales, and build a community around your company by helping you become a media company. So you can sign up today by going to contentsupply.com/pricing, or simply schedule a free demo call at contentsupply.com/contact. And in doing so, we'll guide you on what plan looks best for you and how we can help you become a media company and to really dominate your industry, become top of mind on a daily basis with a consistent supply of content. That way, again, you can become a media company. Okay, so again, go to contentsupply.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in to this live stream, this training, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, and we'll see you soon.